Today I'm going to be talking about what every wife needs to understand about men. Welcome back to Relationship Reality. If you're new here, my name is David, and on this channel we talk about the relationship truths people feel but rarely know how to explain. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and stay with me until the end because this conversation may help a wife understand her husband, and it may help a husband finally find words for things he has carried in silence for years. And I want to say something clearly before we go any further. This is not about worshiping men. This is not about saying husbands are always right. This is not about telling wives to be silent, small, or powerless. A strong marriage does not require a weak woman. A healthy husband does not need a wife who disappears. But if a wife wants to understand her husband deeply, she has to understand that men do not always experience love the way women think they do. A wife may think, I love him, I cook, I help, I care, I stay, I ask about things, I worry about this marriage, and all of that may be true. But a man can be loved by his wife and still feel unseen. A man can be married and still feel alone. A man can be provided for emotionally in the way she understands love, but still feel starved in the way he receives it. That is where many marriages become confusing, because the wife thinks she is loving him, and the husband does not feel loved. Not because she does not care, but because she may not understand what reaches him. So today I want to talk about what every wife needs to understand about men, not as a theory, not as a lecture, but as a man who has lived long enough, married long enough, and listened to enough husbands to know that many men are not nearly as simple as people think. Men are not emotionless. Men are not machines. Men are not children. Men are not just providers. Men are not only interested in physical intimacy. Men are not always quiet because nothing is wrong. And men are not always strong because they are not hurting. Sometimes a man is quiet because he is processing pain he does not know how to say. Sometimes a man is distant because he feels he has failed too many times to keep trying. Sometimes a man stops explaining because explaining has started to feel useless. Sometimes a man withdraws not because he stopped loving his wife, but because he no longer knows where to place his pain inside the marriage. And wives need to understand this. Because a good man will often carry more than he confesses. He will carry financial pressure. He will carry fear of failure. He will carry the pressure to lead. He will carry the pressure to stay calm. He will carry the pressure to protect everyone else from his own uncertainty. And then he will come home and hope that the woman he loves can see the man beneath the role. Not just the husband, not just the father, not just the provider, not just the man who fixes things, but the human being, the tired one, the doubtful one, the one who still needs warmth, the one who still needs respect, the one who still needs to know that he matters outside of what he produces. Comment below before we go deeper. Wives, when you think about your husband, do you believe you truly understand what he carries internally? And husbands, if you are listening, what is one thing you wish your wife understood about you but you have never been able to explain properly? Write it in the comments. Because sometimes one honest comment says what thousands of men have been too tired to say. The first thing every wife needs to understand is that respect is not optional to a man. Respect is not a small thing. Respect is not extra. Respect is not a bonus. For many men, respect is the language through which love becomes believable. A wife may say, "But I love him." Yes. But if your tone constantly communicates contempt, your love may not reach him. If your words constantly communicate disappointment, your love may not reach him. If your attitude constantly communicates that he is incompetent, foolish, weak, or beneath you, your love may not reach him. Because for a man, love without respect often feels incomplete. It feels confusing. It feels like being hugged with one hand and slapped with the other. And I know some women hear the word respect and immediately become defensive. They think respect means obedience. It does not. They think respect means a wife cannot disagree. It does not. They think respect means a man gets to dominate the home. It does not. Real respect means you can disagree without humiliating him. Real respect means you can correct without belittling. Real respect means you can challenge without stripping him of dignity. Real respect means you speak to him like someone you still believe in. That matters. Relationship researchers have repeatedly warned that contempt, criticism, defensiveness, and stonewalling are destructive patterns in couples. And contempt is especially damaging because it communicates superiority instead of partnership. And let me bring that down from research language into real life. Contempt sounds like, "Of course you forgot, you never do anything right. Move, let me do it. You're just like your father. I knew you would mess this up. Why can't you be more like him?" You call that helping? It may not sound like hatred to you, but to a man, repeated contempt becomes emotional poison. At first, he may defend himself. Then he may argue. Then he may explain. Then he may become angry. But after enough time, if he feels he cannot win respect inside his own home, he will stop trying to earn it there. And that is when he begins to withdraw. Not always physically, emotionally. He stops bringing ideas. He stops leading. He stops initiating. He stops offering opinions. He stops trying to solve problems. And then his wife says, he does not lead anymore. He does not talk anymore. He does not engage anymore. But sometimes what she is seeing is not the original problem. It is the result. A man who has been consistently treated like his voice does not matter will eventually stop using it. I need you to sit with that. Because many wives are frustrated with the silence they helped create without realizing it. The remedy is not to flatter him falsely. The remedy is to restore dignity in the way you speak. Say what needs to be said, but say it without contempt. Tell him what hurt you, but do not make him feel like a fool for being human. Ask for change, but do not attack his identity. A wife who can correct with respect has a power many women underestimate, because a respected man usually becomes more open, more present, more willing, more protective, more tender. Not because he is being controlled, because he feels safe enough to give. The second thing every wife needs to understand is that appreciation is emotional fuel for a man. Men need appreciation more than many women realize. Not empty praise, not childish praise, not being applauded for breathing, but specific, sincere recognition. A man wants to know that his efforts matter. He wants to know that what he does is seen. He wants to know that his sacrifices are not invisible. And many husbands are living with a painful reality. They are criticized specifically, but appreciated generally. When something is wrong, the wife has details. You forgot this. You missed that. You said it this way. You should have done it earlier. You did not think about me. But when something is right, the appreciation is vague or absent. Thanks. Okay, that's good. And over time, the man begins to feel like his mistakes are magnified and his efforts are expected. That wears a man down. Studies on gratitude and relationships have found that feeling appreciated and expressing gratitude are connected with relationship satisfaction and stability. Again, let's make that practical. A man changes the oil in the car. He handles a bill. He works late. He carries something heavy. He checks the doors at night. He fixes something in the house. He wakes up tired and still goes to work. He sits through stress he does not fully explain. And because these things become normal, they stop being noticed. But normal does not mean effortless. Routine does not mean easy. Expected does not mean unworthy of appreciation. A wife who says, "I saw what you did, and I appreciate it," gives something powerful to her husband. She gives him evidence that his labor is not invisible. She gives him evidence that his presence matters. She gives him emotional fuel. And a man who feels appreciated often becomes more generous. Not because appreciation manipulates him, because appreciation softens him. It tells him, my effort lands somewhere. My sacrifice is not wasted. My wife sees me. There are men who have not heard a sincere thank you from their wives in years. They may not say that, but they feel it. And the absence of appreciation becomes a quiet loneliness. So wives, ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you thanked your husband specifically? Not generally, specifically, not thanks for everything, but thank you for working so hard this week. Thank you for staying calm when things were stressful. Thank you for fixing that. Thank you for showing up for the children. Thank you for being steady. Thank you for trying. Those words matter more than you think. Husbands, comment below if appreciation changes how you show up in a marriage. Not because you need applause, but because being seen gives you strength. The third thing every wife needs to understand is that when a man tries to fix a problem, he may be trying to love you. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings between husbands and wives. A wife shares a problem. She is stressed. She is hurt. She is overwhelmed. She wants empathy. She wants presence. She wants him to listen. But he immediately starts offering solutions. Did you try this? Why don't you do that? Talk to this person. Don't worry about it. Here's what you should do. And she feels dismissed. She feels rushed. She feels like he is not listening. She says, I just wanted you to hear me. And he feels confused, because in his mind, he was helping. In his mind, solving the problem was an act of care. In his mind, he was trying to reduce her pain. This is important. Many men are wired, trained, and socialized to respond to distress with action. They see a problem and instinctively move toward a solution, not because they do not care about feelings, but because they care so much they want to remove the source of pain. A man hears his wife suffering, and something inside him says, fix it, protect her, make this better, add value. That instinct may be imperfect. It may need refinement. He may need to learn how to sit with emotion before offering strategy. But a wife needs to understand the heart beneath it. Sometimes his advice is not dismissal. Sometimes his advice is his attempt to love. The remedy is simple. Tell him what you need before you start. Say, I do not need a solution right now. I just need you to listen. Or, I need your advice. Help me think through this. That one sentence can prevent a lot of unnecessary conflict, because many husbands are not trying to ignore emotion. They simply need direction. A man often relaxes when he knows what role to play. Listener, comforter, problem solver, protector, partner. Tell him what you need. Do not expect him to guess perfectly every time. And husbands, learn this too. Before fixing, ask, do you want comfort or do you want a solution? That question can save an evening. It can save a fight. It can save a pattern. The fourth thing every wife needs to understand is that a man still needs psychological freedom inside marriage. Marriage is commitment. But commitment should not feel like captivity. A man can be faithful and still need space. A man can be devoted and still need autonomy. A man can love his wife deeply and still need time to think, breathe, build, create, pursue interests, and feel like a whole person. Research related to self-determination theory often describes autonomy, competence, and relatedness as basic psychological needs. And relationship research has connected autonomy support with healthier relationship functioning. In plain words, people need love and freedom. They need closeness and room. They need connection and individuality, and men often feel this need strongly. If a wife monitors every move, questions every decision, corrects every choice, manages every hour, and treats independence as disloyalty, the husband may begin to feel suffocated, not unloved. Suffocated, and suffocation creates distance. A wife may say, I just want to be close. But closeness without breathing room can become pressure. A wife may say, I just want to know everything. But knowing everything can become control. A wife may say, I just care. But care without trust becomes surveillance. There is a difference between partnership and micromanagement. A husband does not want to feel like a teenage boy reporting to his mother. He wants to feel like a trusted man walking beside his wife. If he wants time alone, that does not automatically mean he is rejecting you. If he wants to work on something, that does not automatically mean he is avoiding you. If he wants to be quiet, that does not automatically mean he is hiding something. If he wants to make a decision, that does not automatically mean he does not value your voice. A good marriage makes space for both people to breathe, and a man who feels trusted is more likely to remain emotionally open. But a man who feels constantly managed will often begin protecting parts of himself. He may stop sharing details. He may become vague. He may stay longer at work. He may retreat into hobbies. He may emotionally disappear while still physically present. Not because freedom matters more than marriage, but because freedom is one of the ways a man keeps his sense of self alive inside marriage. The remedy is trust with communication, not blind trust. Not careless freedom, but mature trust. Talk about expectations. Talk about boundaries. Talk about time. Talk about responsibilities. But do not turn marriage into a prison and then wonder why he keeps looking for windows. The fifth thing every wife needs to understand is that a man's silence is not always rejection. This may be one of the most important things in this entire conversation. When a husband becomes quiet, many wives immediately personalize it. She thinks, he is mad at me, he does not care, he is shutting me out, he is being cold, he does not want to talk to me. Sometimes that may be true, but often something else is happening. He is processing, he is sorting, he is trying to understand what he feels before he speaks. He is trying not to say something damaging. He is trying to calm himself down. He is trying to carry the weight internally because that is how he learned to survive. Traditional masculine norms can make many men less likely to seek emotional help or openly express distress, which can contribute to silent coping patterns. Many men were not taught to say, I feel overwhelmed, I feel afraid, I feel inadequate, I feel rejected, I feel like I am failing. I need comfort. They were taught, be strong, handle it, do not complain, keep going, figure it out. So when pressure rises, they retreat inward, not because they do not feel, because they feel more than they can comfortably express. A wise wife learns to distinguish between silent punishment and silent processing. Silent punishment is cold. It is meant to control. It is meant to hurt. It is meant to make you chase. But silent processing is different. It is a man trying to find his footing before he speaks. And if you attack him in that moment, you may turn processing into withdrawal. If you follow him with accusation, you may make his silence feel unsafe to leave. Instead of saying, why are you ignoring me? Try saying, I can see you are quiet. Do you need space or do you need me? That question gives him dignity. It gives him choice. It tells him you are not attacking his silence. You are trying to understand it. And husbands need to do their part too. A man should not use silence as a wall forever. He should learn to say, I need time, but I will come back to this. That sentence can calm a wife's fear. Because many wives do not fear the silence itself. They fear being abandoned inside it. The sixth thing every wife needs to understand is that men often feel like failures long before anyone calls them failures. This is something many wives miss. A man may look confident. He may look calm. He may look emotionally unaffected. But inside, he may be carrying questions he never says out loud. Am I doing enough? Am I earning enough? Am I leading well? Am I still attractive? Am I failing my children? Am I disappointing my wife? Am I becoming less than I thought I would be? A man's identity is often tied to competence, to usefulness, to contribution, to whether his presence makes life better. That is why constant criticism can hit him deeply. It does not only correct behavior, it can confirm an internal fear, the fear that he is not enough. And when a wife becomes the voice that confirms that fear, the marriage becomes painful. He may not say, you make me feel like a failure. He may just become defensive, or distant, or irritable, or quiet, or consumed with work, or emotionally unavailable. Because shame rarely speaks clearly. Shame hides. Shame reacts. Shame withdraws. The remedy is to criticize less and invite more. Instead of saying, you never help, say, I feel overwhelmed, and I need us to carry this together. Instead of saying, you always mess things up, say, this matters to me, and I need to trust that we can handle it as a team. Instead of attacking the man, name the need. That is a different kind of communication. One creates defensiveness. The other creates partnership. The seventh thing every wife needs to understand is that men need admiration, not worship. Admiration. There is a difference. Worship is unhealthy. Admiration is oxygen. A man wants to know that his wife sees something in him worth respecting. His discipline, his work ethic, his patience, his courage, his intelligence, his loyalty, his sense of humor, his ability to keep going, his desire to protect, his effort to become better. Admiration reminds a man that he is not just tolerated. He is valued. There are husbands who feel tolerated in their marriages, not loved, not admired, not desired, tolerated, like their wife is surviving them, like she is constantly disappointed but staying anyway. That kind of emotional atmosphere is devastating. A man may not need constant praise, but he does need to feel that his wife still looks at him with some measure of warmth, belief, and regard. If all he sees in her eyes is irritation, Eventually he stops, seeking her eyes. If all he hears in her voice is disappointment, eventually he stops seeking her voice. And that is how emotional distance begins. Small withdrawals, repeated daily, until two people no longer know how to reach each other. Wives, if you admire something about your husband, say it. Do not assume he knows. Men do not always know. Sometimes the strongest men are the ones most starved for reassurance. The eighth thing every wife needs to understand is that physical intimacy is rarely just physical for a man. Yes, men often desire physical intimacy. That is not a secret. But many wives underestimate what that intimacy means emotionally. For many husbands, physical closeness is not only about pleasure. It is about acceptance, desire, connection, reassurance, a sense of being wanted, a sense of being chosen, a sense that he is not merely useful in the house, but still desired by the woman he loves. When that part of marriage disappears without conversation, many men experience it as rejection. Not once, repeatedly. And repeated rejection changes a man. At first, he may pursue, then he may ask, then he may feel embarrassed, then he may feel unwanted, then he may become resentful, then he may stop initiating altogether. And when a man stops initiating, it is not always because the need disappeared. Sometimes it is because the pain of rejection became greater than the desire for connection. That is very important. A wife may say, "He never touches me anymore." But sometimes he stopped because every attempt taught him to feel unwanted. Now, let me be very clear. A wife is not an object. A woman's body is not a duty machine. Intimacy should never be forced, demanded, or used as entitlement. But in marriage, physical distance matters. And if intimacy is painful, unwanted, stressful, absent, or complicated, it must be talked about honestly, not weaponized, not ignored, not turned into punishment, not used as currency. Because once physical intimacy becomes a battlefield, emotional safety begins to collapse. The remedy is not pressure. The remedy is honesty. Talk about what changed. Talk about stress. Talk about resentment. Talk about health. Talk about emotional distance. Talk about desire. Talk about what helps connection return. Because silence around intimacy can become one of the loneliest silences in marriage. The ninth thing every wife needs to understand is that men often show love through action before words. Some husbands are not naturally poetic. They may not always say the perfect sentence. They may not always express feelings beautifully. They may not always verbalize love the way a wife expects. But they may be showing love constantly, working, fixing, driving, planning, protecting, carrying, checking, providing, solving, showing up. A wife can miss a man's love if she only recognizes love in her preferred language. Now, a husband should learn his wife's emotional language too. He should not hide behind, "This is just how I am forever." Growth matters, but wives should also learn to translate. When he fills the gas tank, he may be saying, "I care." When he checks the tires, he may be saying, "I want you safe." When he works extra hours, he may be saying, "I am trying to build for us." When he fixes something quietly, he may be saying, "This family matters to me." When he comes home every day, tired but present, he may be saying more than his mouth knows how to say. Do not miss love because it arrived wearing work clothes instead of poetry. The 10th thing every wife needs to understand is that a man can be strong and still need gentleness. This may be the part some men feel but never say. Men are often treated like their strength makes them low maintenance. Because he can carry it, people assume it is not heavy. Because he does not cry, people assume it does not hurt. Because he keeps going, people assume he is fine. Because he does not ask for much, people assume he needs little. But many men are silently exhausted. They are not asking to be babied. They are asking not to be treated like machines. They need warmth. They need softness. They need kindness. They need a place where they do not have to prove they are strong every minute of the day. A wife's gentleness can reach a man in places nothing else can. A soft touch, a calm voice, a sincere thank you, a moment of patience, a look that says, "I know you are trying." Those things matter. They may seem small, but to a man carrying pressure he barely explains, they can feel like water in a desert. The 11th thing every wife needs to understand is that nagging usually produces compliance, not connection. A wife may nag because she feels unheard. She may repeat herself because something truly matters. She may feel like if she does not keep bringing it up, nothing will change. That frustration is real. But the method often backfires, because repeated criticism can make a man feel attacked rather than invited. Eventually, he may comply just to end the pressure. But compliance is not the same as connection. He may do what she wants, but resent how it happened. He may agree, but emotionally pull back. He may stop fighting, but also stop feeling close. That is a dangerous trade. You can win the point and lose the heart. The remedy is to turn complaints into clear requests. Not, "You never care about this house," but, "I need you to handle the dishes tonight without me reminding you." Not, "You're so irresponsible," but, "When bills are late, I feel anxious. Can we sit down and plan this together?" Clarity works better than contempt. A request gives direction. An attack creates defense. The 12th thing every wife needs to understand is that a husband wants to feel like a partner, not a project. If your marriage feels like you are constantly trying to upgrade him, he will eventually feel rejected. A man knows he has flaws. He knows he has growth areas. He knows he is not perfect. But he does not want to live under the feeling that his wife is waiting for him to become acceptable. A wife may see potential, but if she loves only his potential, he will feel unseen in the present. There is nothing wrong with encouraging growth, but encouragement says, "I believe in you." Control says, "I am not satisfied with you." Those land differently. The remedy is to ask, "Do I love who he is, or only who I think I can make him become?" That question matters, because marriage is not a renovation project. It is a covenant between two imperfect people learning how to love with humility. The 13th thing every wife needs to understand is that men remember how you respond to their weakness. A man may open up only once about something deeply vulnerable, and your response may determine whether he ever opens that door again. If he shares fear and you mock it, he remembers. If he shares insecurity and you use it later in an argument, he remembers. If he cries and you lose respect, he remembers. If he admits failure and you punish him with contempt, he remembers. Then years later you may say, "Why don't you tell me anything?" And he may not say it, but inside, he knows. "Because I tried once, and it was not safe." Wives need to understand that male vulnerability is often expensive. It costs a man something to reveal pain in a world that taught him to hide it. So when he offers it, handle it carefully. Do not turn his wound into ammunition. Do not make his honesty a reason to think less of him. Do not punish the openness you asked for. The remedy is emotional protection. If he opens up, slow down. Listen. Do not rush to correct. Do not make it about you immediately. Do not use it later. Let him feel that his heart is safe in your hands. Because if a man feels safe being weak with you, he will become stronger beside you. The 14th thing every wife needs to understand is that men are not always looking for more talk. Sometimes they are looking for better talk. Many couples talk every day, but they do not connect. They talk about bills, schedules, children, groceries, problems, repairs, responsibilities, but never the soul of the marriage, never the fear underneath, never the loneliness, never the desire, never the disappointment, never the dream. A wife may think, "We talk all the time," but a husband may feel, "We never talk about anything that makes me feel close to you." The amount of conversation is not the same as the depth of connection. A man may not want endless emotional processing, but he does want meaningful connection. He wants conversations that do not always turn into criticism. He wants laughter. He wants peace. He wants affection. He wants to feel that the woman he married still enjoys him, not just manages life with him. The remedy is to create conversations that do not feel like interrogation. Ask him what he is thinking, not only what he forgot. Ask what he is dreaming about, not only what he needs to fix. Ask what he is carrying, not only what he is doing wrong. A man opens more where he feels invited than where he feels investigated. The 15th thing every wife needs to understand is that men often pull away when they feel they cannot win. This is one of the most painful patterns in marriage. A husband tries one approach. Wrong. He tries another. Also wrong. He speaks. Wrong tone. He stays quiet. Now he is avoiding. He helps. Wrong method. He does not help. Now he does not care. He offers a solution. She wanted listening. He listens. She wanted action. After enough of this, he begins to feel trapped in a no-win system. And when a man feels he cannot win, he does not always rebel. Sometimes he shuts down. Not because he has no feelings, because he does not know where to place them. The remedy is to be clear about what success looks like. Do not make him guess and then punish him for guessing wrong. Say what you need. Say what helps. Say what hurts. Say what matters. And when he gets it right, acknowledge it. Because a man who never knows when he is winning may eventually stop playing. The 16th thing every wife needs to understand is that peace matters deeply to men. I have said this before, and I will say it again. Many men do not need perfection. They need peace. They need one place where they can breathe. One place where they are not constantly judged. One place where they are not always failing. One place where their nervous system can rest. If home becomes another battlefield, a man will begin searching for peace elsewhere. The garage, the car, work, friends, hobbies, silence, screens, sometimes even another woman. That does not justify betrayal, but it explains the hunger. People go where they can breathe. If a wife wants closeness, she must understand the atmosphere she creates. Does he relax around you, or tense up? Does he feel safe telling the truth, or does he prepare for punishment? Does he feel welcomed, or evaluated? Does he feel peace, or pressure? Comment below honestly. When your husband walks into the house, what atmosphere is he walking into? And husbands, when you come home, do you feel relief or pressure? Your answer matters. The 17th thing every wife needs to understand is that men need to feel desired, not merely needed. A man can provide, be useful, solve problems, take care of responsibilities, but if he only feels needed, not desired, something in him becomes lonely. Needed says, you are useful. Desired says, you are wanted. Those are different. Many husbands feel useful in their homes, but not wanted in their marriages. That is a quiet ache. A wife may love him, but if there is no warmth, no admiration, no touch, no softness, no desire, he may begin to feel like a worker inside the family system. Not a husband, not a lover, not the man she once chose. The remedy is to restore signals of desire. Not forced, not fake, but intentional. Look at him, touch him, compliment him, flirt sometimes. Let him feel that he is not merely the man who pays bills or carries weight. He is still the man you chose. The 18th thing every wife needs to understand is that men often carry fear of failure silently. A wife may think her husband is careless because he does not discuss worry. But many men worry deeply. They worry about money, health, children, career, aging, status, performance, marriage. They worry about whether they are becoming irrelevant, whether they are respected, whether they are enough. But instead of verbalizing fear, they may become irritable, quiet, distracted, or work-obsessed. Do not assume silence means absence of feeling. Sometimes silence means the feeling is too tangled to explain. The remedy is patient curiosity, not interrogation, not accusation. Curiosity. Say, you have seemed heavy lately. I am here if you want to talk, then let the door stay open. A man may not walk through it immediately, but he will remember that it exists. The 19th thing every wife needs to understand is that a man's loyalty should not be taken for granted. Good men are often taken for granted because they are consistent. They come home. They provide. They forgive. They stay. They do not create drama. They keep trying. And because they keep showing up, people assume they always will. But good men have limits. A loyal man may endure for years, but when he finally believes nothing will change, he can leave emotionally before he ever leaves physically. And by the time his wife notices, he may already be far away inside himself. So do not wait until a good man is gone to value him. Notice him now. Thank him now. Respect him now. Repair now. Ask now. Listen now. Because once a good man stops believing his heart is safe with you, Regaining his openness may take more than an apology. The 20th thing every wife needs to understand is that your husband does not need you to understand men perfectly. He needs you to care enough to learn him personally. Everything I have said today is general. Every man is still individual. Your husband has his own history, his own fears, his own wounds, his own dreams, his own way of processing pain, his own way of receiving love, his own way of needing respect. So do not use this conversation as a checklist to control him. Use it as an invitation to study him. Ask him, what makes you feel respected? What makes you feel appreciated? What do I do that makes you shut down? When do you feel closest to me? What kind of support helps you most? What have you been carrying that I have not understood? Those questions can open doors, but only if you ask them with humility, not to win, not to defend, not to argue, to understand. And husbands, if your wife asks, be brave enough to answer with maturity, not blame, not bitterness, truth, because marriage cannot heal what neither person is willing to name. Now let me speak to the wives watching. You do not need to become perfect. Your husband is not perfect either. This conversation is not asking you to carry the entire marriage alone. It is asking you to understand something that many men do not know how to express. Your husband may need respect more than you realize. He may need appreciation more than he admits. He may need peace more than perfection. He may need gentleness beneath his strength. He may need room to process before he speaks. He may need admiration, not worship. He may need to feel desired, not only needed. He may need to know that home is not just another place where he is evaluated. And if you can understand that, not perfectly, but sincerely, you may reach parts of him that criticism never could. And men watching this, do not use this message as a weapon against your wife. Do not say, see, this is everything you do wrong. That is not wisdom. That is immaturity. Use this message to create language. Use it to explain yourself calmly. Use it to build understanding. Use it to say, this is what I have struggled to express. Because a marriage does not heal when one person wins. It heals when both people become honest enough to understand the pain beneath the pattern. Before I go, I want to hear from you. Wives, which point helped you understand your husband differently? Was it respect, appreciation, silence, the fixer instinct, peace, freedom, vulnerability? Husbands, what do you wish your wife understood most about you? Write it in the comments. Read other people's comments too. Somebody's story may help you understand your own marriage better. And if this conversation spoke to you, like this video, subscribe to Relationship Reality and turn on notifications. Share this with a husband or wife who needs a better language for what is happening in their marriage. Because sometimes people do not need a new spouse. They need a new understanding. I'm David, and after 40 years of watching relationships succeed and fail, I have learned this. Men are not as simple as people say. They are often silent where they are hurting, strong where they are tired, useful where they feel unseen, present where they feel lonely, and loved in ways they do not always feel. A wise wife learns the man behind the role, not so she can serve his ego, but so she can reach his heart. Because when a man feels respected, appreciated, trusted, desired, and safe with the woman he loves, something changes in him. He softens, he opens, he gives, he stays, not because he is trapped, because he has found something rare, a marriage where he can finally be a man and a human being at the same time.